What is up? Welcome to Stat Guy Show, episode number 10. Special guest tonight is Adam Jennings and his dog named
Bucci. Hello, Bucci.
What's up, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good to see you. Yeah, good, man. Just out here. Apparently, it's winter again. It's 34 degrees over here. It was 78 degrees the other day, and the wind was blowing 60 miles an hour. So we're in West Texas, so it's part of it. But
Holy man.
Loving it.
So what's up? We got off season right now from No Prep King. So what are you working on? What are you doing?
Off season, man. You know, the biggest thing for me this year is trying to get back in the rhythm, right? Because the people coming in this year, as far as competition, is going to be the biggest ever, right? So I know for a fact, some of the big names coming in. I'm not going to name any names, but we all know that we're going to have some big names coming in to try to get in for the invitational stuff. And for us to step up our game, it's going to take a lot, you know. So we've got some stuff up our sleeve a little bit, you know, and I really think we're going to stay the same combo, though, right? So, like, everybody's like, well, you're going to go to screw blower, you're going to go, you know, stay, you know, whatever, you know, as far as I think we're going to stay the same combo with a 521. I've got a hurt block, sending it back to Proline, Eric Diller to get it back. They're the best in the business, you know, Proline, they just do a great job. So send it back over there and see what happens. It got in the cam journal a little bit. We have some issues there. So, the plan is to get that motor back. Got a new rig I'm buying and stuff, and upgrading, kind of downgrading a little bit, you know, as far as like your travel stuff, because the travel expense is just insanely expensive as far as fuel costs, you know. So, and you guys talk about that a lot. I've seen you on your podcast, but I think that for me this year, I can't commit to 100% of all the races, but I want to make as much as I can, right? And within reason, and be competitive, because of course it's a TV show first, right? They always say that. But I want to be competitive. It's always a perk to build your brand, to be on TV, right? And have it, you know, build your brand in Dark Horse, or, you know, like my team captain, Shake and Bake, or Kayla Morton. She had a hell of a season last year, you know, and everybody else, even Sean Wilhoit did, you know, and our side. But I want to be competitive. So I think the biggest thing for me is to make sure I do calculated moves this year and be smart and put money where I need to put it and just go from there. So.
Nice. You mentioned Dark Horse. What is the current state of Dark Horse?
Sir?
What is the current state of Dark Horse right now?
Dark Horse, the motor's tore apart. It looks like a war field in my shop right now. So I go out there and show you in a minute. We will see it. But I got the motor tore down to a bare block. It's going to be sent in to Eric and at Proline, and he knows it's coming. I talked to him about it, but it's just one of them deals, you know. It just never ends with drag racing. It just never ends. It's always something, right? And I don't have the big sponsorships that these other guys have, which I'm not complaining about that. More power. I want everybody to be successful. I love it. But for me, I just got to be smart, right? Because I've spent a lot of money in the last 2 years on my program to go out there and run almost two full seasons, 1.5 seasons. And before that, I did JJ DeBoss's Fastest in America in Vegas. Before that, and I raced Trisha, and she kicked my ass. but it's hard to, but you know what? I'll tell you a story real quick. It was funny because it was me, Larry Larson, Murillo was our team captain at the time, and Shake and Bake, and who else was out there? There was like 4 or 5 of us out there. It's like 3 a.m. in Vegas. Dude, I had 2 flashlights zip tied to my blower on the top of my hat, and we're going down a road, and the cattle guard was the 8th mile, right? So, I mean, we're straight doing a burnout, and we're on the street at 3 a.m, and we're on a 2-track road in Vegas next to the service road, and I'm just like, did a pretty good pass, hit a cattle guard, and then hit the brakes and stopped. and turned around and turned the car off because I can't take it back. We have no radiators. Our stuff, you know how it is.
Yeah.
We got 4,000 horsepower.
Right.
So turned it off. That was probably the craziest thing I ever did when I first started this whole deal, this whole journey. As far as because Cody Baker got me into this because I raced sprint cars, dirt track. I was doing dirt track. So
You did. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
yeah. So I was doing the 30, not 360s, not 410s. It was a 305 class. Whatever. So, but it was fun. I loved it. The G-force. It was sprint car stuff, and this was a couple of years. This was 3 years ago. And how I got into No Prep King, or even just racing no prep stuff, was Cody Baker was one of my best friends, and he was like, once you feel the hit on a car that has over 2,000 horsepower, you're going to sell all your sprint car stuff. I was like, I don't know, man. I love dirt track stuff because dirt track's fun. Sprint cars is fun. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a great
thing. I am. It's
okay,
big up here in Wisconsin. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you're in Wisconsin. My bad, dude. So, so like the sprint car stuff was always good for us. And it's always in, Las Cruces, New Mexico. The World of Outlaws show up a few times, back in the day.
Yep.
And just always been a sprint car. My dad raced mini sprints back in the day. I bought him a 305, bought me a 305. We went racing a couple of years ago. Went to Lubbock, raced like one race. And it was a great time. And then Dark Horse car was up for sale. And I didn't know, like, I knew I wanted the car, but I didn't know, like, how much it was going to be worth. So I talked to Cody, and Cody was like, yeah, you got to buy this car. He told me kind of what it was worth because Cody's been doing this for a long time. Like, Cody Baker's like he's a seasoned, like, he's been doing this for, 10 plus years as far as drag racing. So long story long, I bought the Dark Horse car. It was called Puddin', and it was the Winger setup. It was San Angelo, Texas, and got it. Beautiful setup, beautiful big block Chevy, still have the motor with the Pro Charger on it. I went out there and in Pinwell and won a couple of years ago in September, and I beat Kayla Morton. And let me tell you something. Me and Kayla are really close, and me and Boosted are tight. Like we talk all the time. It's great, but she didn't know me, and I beat her that race, and she was not happy. Which I love that about her because she's so competitive, right?
Yeah.
Love her to death, and she is like, I'm telling you right now, this year in No Prep King season 6, you better watch out for her because she's coming.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Oh, she's fast, man.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about your season last year.
Last year sucked. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Well,
but,
I mean, you looking at you did well. Is with the races you were in, you did well. I looked at who you lost to. It like you half the time you won your first round race, which was good.
Correct.
Yes. The other half you drew Lizzie or Ryan.
It was like I drew Ryan so last year, the year before in Virginia, that made the reel on the commercial. Like me and him blew up at the same time. Boom. You know.
Yeah.
And we were just too lean. He was lean, whatever, but like he was scared. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ryan's helped me out so much over this whole deal, even just to go way back, 2 years ago. But yes, last year was good. We were happy, even going into, coming in from the year before, we were a future, right?
Yep.
And we won back-to-back races on the future class. And we got approached by production to be invitational.
Mm-hmm.
So we I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, no problem, because they're not giving those things out much.
No, they're not. No, they're hard to come by these days, especially looking at the field and everybody that's coming back. I mean, you got Eric K coming back, Randy Williams, like the guys, Kelly, Blue Ball, like the guys who've been there are also coming back, and it's like new guys like Manny. I'm sure wants to get an invitational. It's gonna be hard to get in for sure this year.
Yeah, so I guess for me, like you're saying, like, last season, we had some motor issues, right? We had the best motor you can buy, pretty much. The 521 raised cam. I mean, like, we had the best you could probably get, as far as a Alan Johnson Proline setup. And they do a great job. And the best thing about Proline is their service. Like if I blow a motor up on Monday or Saturday, and I have to be in Houston by Thursday, I can ship it off the next day and it'll be there rebuilt. You know, it's insane. Like it's just their program is great. And Fuel Tech, same way. We went with their stuff. We talked about Motec doing their crazy stuff, but like Fuel Tech, it just works. It works for us. And we had success with that. But yeah, so I had some success early on, year and a half, 2 years ago. But like as far as we went to the our first year in Invitational, that was when they first introduced the Great Eight.
Yeah.
And it was in Virginia, and that was when me and Swanstrom went to the semifinals. So I won like 3 or 4 races. We went to the semifinals, like, hey, we're doing stuff, you know.
Right.
Kind of blew up, but yeah. So
how?
Yeah.
So you made the first last year. You think you made the first 9 races? I want to say 9 or 10. But
the first season or 2 years ago?
No. Yeah.
Or
no, last year. Last
year, yeah. I made everything, but like there was like I think I made everything but 3 or 4. I think it was
Okay.
3. They added 2 more, I think it was, or whatever.
Yeah, they added 1 because of Tulsa or whatever. Yeah. How hard was it to like stop at that point and not come back?
Tough, because it was going to Denver, and like so it sucks for me because I'm going, dude, like I'm a terrible spectator, right? Because I'm like, whenever you're in the pits, you're walking around, it's like, dude, like what do you do? It's like I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I got a ranch or whatever. I'm sitting here walking around like I'm trying to help Cody or Kayla, and or our teammates or Sean. But it kind of sucks, man, because whenever you're not there. But for me, it was a calculated decision to make, as far as money goes and sponsorship money run out. I don't want to go crazy. I had to rebuild the motor. I don't want to come out there and just throw something together and come out there and just not be competitive, man, because that's what for me, I want to be competitive. I don't want to go out there. The TV show's fun. It's great. It builds your brand, but I want to be competitive. So that's my main goal going forward. So yeah, we had a tough year last season because of our motor program, and I think we got it figured out and stuff. We had to work on some different things, and we may change. I may change some stuff up, but I'm just trying to figure stuff out. That's all, and make sure it's going to be good for the long haul, and make sure we're going to be competitive. That's all.
Yeah. And then last year we saw you guys form Team South, break away from Team Texas. How'd that come about, and how did it go the whole season?
It went good, man. Yeah, here's the deal. Like me and Mike Murillo have a great relationship. Me and Birdman, me and Jamie are good friends. They're great people, and they'll be the first to tell you. There was no deal to like put us on the team to be, Team Texas. Like it was just like that was part of like it just made sense, right? Like, well, we got, Cody, me coming in to be on Team Texas. Like I can tell you right now, if Birdman's watching, he'll tell you straight up, they didn't want us on the team. It wasn't that it just made sense because we were from Texas and on Team Texas. So when we departed there, it made sense because me and Cody we have the same blowers, so it's like we have the same tuner, and they don't. It just made sense to split, and there's no animosity. I mean, I love those guys to death. I respect the hell out of freaking Birdman and Murillo and his wife and the whole team. I mean, they're great people. So yeah, we split up. That was crazy, but it went better than I thought it would go, honestly. But
it seemed like that on the show. At least it seemed like there wasn't too much animosity either way. It kind of was less drama than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a lot more drama on that end, but of course. But I love how Murillo is. He's gonna talk about it. Like well, you do better than me. Sorry, we're a burden. Like okay, but like that's great, man. Like I love that whole situation went down just fine, and we've got a great team. I mean, no one can deny how fast Kayla is.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you right now. If anybody doubts Kayla this year, watch out. And I'm telling you right now, if Cody's coming back, the same thing. And if I come back and do my stuff, we're not
Yeah.
coming back just to be on the show. We're coming to
Right.
win. And if
Oh
we
yeah.
can't, we got to be competitive, man.
Oh yeah.
So
Brody was really fast last year too.
that was the next thing I was going to tell you. Brody Melton's coming up. I'm telling you right now, Brody Melton is one of the most die-hard racers on the planet Earth. This dude will be sitting there talking like, hey, whatever, man, we're going to race in Amarillo. You're going to go? It's this weekend. I'm like, no, I got to work. He's like, no, I'm going. He races every single race. He's out there, dude. And that's what it takes, though. He loves the sport. He loves it. He deserves to be invitational. He deserves to be where he's at. And
Yeah.
I'll always help him any way I can because he loves this. He loves drag racing, and to be where he's at, it's a dream of his. And I'm glad he's where he's at because I'm telling you right now, his heart is as fast as his car is, and it's going to get even better this year.
Nice. You mentioned that you were going to try to make the full schedule. You're going to try to make as many races as you can. The goal is to race the whole season. You've seen the schedule release, I'm sure, so far. Do you think the first 5 races will depict what's going to happen for you for the rest of the season? Because there's not a single weekend off in those
I
first
really
5
think
races.
it's going to be, so I'll just a backstory. Whenever I first started the No Prep Kings was COVID. So my first 2 years ago it's almost 2.5 years ago now, but when I first started, they were making up for the dates.
Yeah.
So my
Right.
first 6, 7 races was back to back to back to back. So I was like, man, this how this goes all the time? Or what do you guys think? Can we slow down? There was no slowing down. It was crazy. But I'm glad that it happened in that way because I knew like to get my, I guess, wings wet, right? To get to realize like what the schedule's like. Because we have the toughest schedule in drag racing. I don't care what anybody else says. We have the toughest schedule in drag racing. And it's not because Sam or anybody else, Pilgrim or Discovery wants. It's just the way things are, the way it follows.
Mm-hmm.
But it's part of the show. It's part of it. You go from week to week you go from 800 miles to 600 miles to 1,000 miles. It doesn't matter. And you make it, and we go, and we do it. And no matter how much we complain about it, we're always there to the next race. It's like, oh, we're
Yeah.
setting stuff up. It's like, God dang, how long did it take you to get here? Whatever.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I got a problem with it. It's great. I
Yeah.
love it.
So you talked about how you ran the roots blower last year, and
Yeah.
have you thought about switching at all? Are you going to have more thoughts about it depending on when the rules come out? I mean, what do you think about the whole
Yeah.
combo for this upcoming year?
The crazy thing is we don't have the rules yet, and
Right.
that's kind of what's, stressing me out a little bit. But like 25, 50, 25, we can be where I'm at with the root stuff. They change it, whatever. What I'm worried about is the overdrive for the PSI stuff. If you go to um, if you
Screw.
go from a roots, but to a screw, but they may change that up. We just don't know yet. I've already talked to people with PSI. I mean, I could get a screw blower to put it on there. I know Kai's doing it. It's going to be a whole different, which I'm happy for Kai to change out. I'm not saying like, I mean, I think it's going to be cool for him to change out for Noonan to a screw, and try something different. It'll be cool. All I have to do for me is put a screw, call PSI and get a screw, right? So I'm just kind of waiting on the rules package because we want
Yeah.
to see if they're going to knock us down on the drive, like, in the weight package. Because if they're going to
Right. Yeah.
if they're not going to change anything for the Pro Charger stuff for Ryan, then Ryan's just going to coast back into another season, which good for him. Like Ryan's the best in the business for what I would say he's got competition coming up this year. I'm going to tell you that. He does. And he
Oh
knows
yeah.
that. And Ryan is one of the most humblest guys ever. And I'll tell you a story just real quick. 2 years ago, we were at freaking Maple Grove. My transmission blew up. I was in the future class. I'm a nobody. And this was over 2 years ago. And we go up to his pit and it's Sean Ellington, Murdanova, and Ryan. And I've never met them before, but Grant O'Rourke from Australia, he's done all those guys' stuff. He's a great dude. He helped me for a while as far as doing the, turning the car around and stuff. And he goes, let's go ask him. I show up to his pit, and literally, like, I meet Ryan. I'm like, Ryan, I'm Adam Jennings. Nice to meet you. And like Sean, there's Murdanova, so they're like, here's Sean. He goes like this all the time. What's up, man? What's going on? And I was like, yeah, man, I need a transmission, because they have the same thing, the Mark Mickey 3-speed, like the same stuff we use. And for some reason, it blew up. But we were in the semis. We were going to win like the next day. And God bless his heart, dude. He asked one question, and I would have too. He asked Grant, pulled him aside, and was like, hey, who is this ginger? And I'm like, I'm like, I'm a nobody. And I guess Grant, and they said, no, he's good, mate. Just he'll be fine. And so I went back over there and talked to Ryan. And I said, Ryan said, you know what? Just take it. So he gave me his last spare transmission a couple of years ago. Brand new Mark Mickey with his own gear sets in there. I mean, his own bit. And I paid him back the next 2 days. I just wired the money and paid the whole thing off, and replaced it.
Yeah.
But that's what turned me on to the entire no prep kink. Whenever I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this another year or so, because the camaraderie, I can easily go up to the biggest star in the game. Now, me and Ryan know each other really well, but like back then I didn't know who he was. He gave me his last transmission and was like, he trusted me, and I paid it back. So anyway, it was pretty cool.
It's a great story. Are you going to set goals? Do you set goals before the No Prep King season? Like number of races I want to make, how I want to finish, least amount of parts I want to break. Like what kind of goals do you set, do you think?
This year's going to be different. So yes, my goal is to be at a top 15, top 20 at least, to go out there and win it. To go out there and try to be in the top 15, top 20, the first few races. I can do this. I've got sponsorships want to come on board and got fuel paid for. That's a big thing. So I want to do it right? Because I threw all the money at it the last 2 years, and it's been great, but our motor program just didn't work out. And which it wasn't anybody's fault. It was just things didn't work out. So my main goal is to be, top 15, I believe, in the first few races. And then if I can do that, then get the top 10 and try to be there, and try to get enough sponsor guys on board to have spare racks, spare pistons, rods, crank, spare blocks, spare short block, whatever, have a spare motor inside. I already have 2 spare transmissions. So I want to make sure that my goal is to have enough to where something catastrophic happens, I have a spare blower, spare block, spare, or spare short block, spare long, whatever, and pistons and rods and cranks. So yes, that's a great question. And I think more people that need to do that and set goals and say, hey, what's realistic here? Because realistically, to go out there and say, I'm going to beat Ryan. I've raced Ryan, dude. I draw him all the time. It's like, oh, okay, well, okay, I'll draw Ryan 3 times in a row. It's like, hey, what's up, buddy? And it's like, I think I've raced him 4 times, but it's like the closest I've ever been was like 2.5 cars, 2 cars, But if they mess up, I'm right there. I think it's important to have goals. That's actually a great question. And I think that for me to be top 15, 20, in the first few races and get some kind of momentum to come in there to be top 10, because if you can get in there and you can get you a good spot, you just never know what can happen. Because even just like when I had Lizzie in Minnesota last year, was it last year? Yeah. Minnesota. I think it was Minnesota. And it was like, I beat her, but I mean, she had a flub up. She messed up. She slipped out, but I was right there on her bumper. And that's what it takes to beat these top guys and girls out there. But I mean, not saying that we're not. It's pretty crazy because we're all pretty close. Everybody has pretty much the same horsepower. It's just how you lay it down and how good your program is. How
Yeah.
good can you get from the track, from your pits to the starting line, burn out in your groove and go.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. And
Yeah.
Ryan's one of the best in the business. So is Kai, Lizzie, all those people are great. I mean, it's crazy, but
Huh. So and No Prep Kings this year it started a little later than normal. Last year I think it started
May.
in May. Obviously you're gonna have testing going on. You're gonna do a lot of
Yeah,
testing
we're
before
gonna
it
get.
starts. But are there any smaller no prep events that you want to hit up this year before No Prep Kings starts?
Yes, sir. So I wanted to do like the one coming up in Pinwell in a couple of weeks. We do every year. Scott Taylor puts it on with Murillo and those guys. Murillo just had double knee replacement, so
Yeah.
he won't. I don't think he'll be there. But and Scott's obviously in Australia, Mike. But there's a few smaller ones I'd like to go to. But the main thing for me is get the blocks sent off next week. I'm a little bit late. Get the blocks sent off to Proline. Let them look at it. Let them look and see if the crank can be fixed or whatever. I got to buy a new cam because it got in the cam journal whenever I blew up that last motor. So um, if the block needs to be fixed, I have to buy a new block, and that could shorten everything. But if not, they can fix it. It may take a couple extra weeks, but there's a couple of races in between, May before we start. I mean, we got a lot of time, so definitely do some testing. But I want to get the motor fixed ASAP. I
Yeah.
do have a spare rack. I got spare rods, spare pistons. They can go in there. A couple of spare sleeves, but the crank, I'm going to send off, see if it can get turned. I don't know. It may be jack too, because I don't ever just not mess nothing up. I screw it up bad. I screw it up bad. Was it almost a year and a half ago? I was in Idaho and I was racing Jerry. Remember Jerry Jensen with the
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Team
that
Canada, yeah.
beautiful 55, the gray one? Yeah, great dude. He's like 7'8".
Yeah.
So, dude, great family, Cali guys. So I'm out there racing him, and that was when I blew my Noonan motor up and did a burnout. Came back, took off. We took off. We were getting it, and he of course he was ahead of me. That's a fast car. It was. He sold it, but fast car. He got about a car and a half, but it just we were pretty much even, and all of a sudden he just went. I was like, what is going on? And I started smelling and let off, got a little crooked, into the track, turn over there, and then the track guys were there. And I already knew what was going on, dude. I mean, when you window a block, like what I'd like, I mean, it was gangster, dude. It was like, we're talking. So the guy comes over and bless his heart. They have the best crew over there. They have like the most pristine 1985 dualies that are like brand new crew guys that come out there with the fire. They're like brand new. It's beautiful. He comes over there in his tracksuit and he goes up and he comes through. He goes like, "Hey man, I think there's a little bit of oil coming down underneath your car. You ain't want to come check that out underneath. It's right there." So I get out and I was like, no shit. So I look underneath there. I was like, yeah, dude, there's a window that big in the motor. so blew that up, So, but yeah. So I mean, my goal this year to go back to your stuff. Sorry, I landed the plane. Sorry, but I mean, just going back to everything. I really think my goal is to be top 15 coming out of the gate and give yourself a chance to be top 10 in the next few races, right? You know what I mean? Like, because there's going to be so many fast cars this year. It depends on what Pilgrim lets in, right? Because they're going to be,
Yeah.
you got Paige Coughlin. I mean, they own Jegs. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking like you've got those cats. There's so many different people coming in, which rightfully so, which they deserve it. They have fast cars, and that's what we want. We want to grow the sport, but we're just blessed to be invitational, and I want to be able to keep up. Because if I can't, then I got to figure out something else, because I want to win. So.
Right. And you're still trying to sell your pro mod, right? I mean, you're
I've
all
got
in for the no prep kings.
I've got the so I was going to do some ADRL, some big pro mod stuff before, and it just the show got so big, I didn't have time to do that, so I built the Larry Jeffers C7 Pro Mod, all carbon fiber out there. It's got the baddest. Adam, I'm going to call him Durazik. Deez Rezak. That's Kai Kelly's guy, right? So, good buddy of mine. He does all my suspension. And
Oh,
that's all Penske, four-way adjustable stuff in the back. It's got the best suspension you can get. So, I'm going to probably sell that. I'd love to put it together and put a screw on it, but I think, I got to pick one or the other because things just picked up so much on No Prep Kings. So it
yeah,
was like, I got to pick one or the other. And
yeah,
I can actually take you out there and show it to you real quick.
yeah. Hell yeah, let's go see it.
Let's go see. And if I lose you, I'll call you right back. So
Good.
let me see here. I'm going to turn this camera around here.
Look at that wall of guitars right there.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Yeah, so I have a problem here.
Wow.
Yep.
How long you been? How long have you been building that up?
I've been playing for probably 25 years as a
Nice.
musician, but I've got this is the Gibson. That's the Hummingbird, man. That's the bad boy.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I got a ton of them. And love golf. There's Tiger Woods autograph, of course. But got some cool pictures of whenever we won. This was in Cordova. This was internet. This is when we won in the Future Class. And this was the car before we put the Hemi in it. Back it was flat black with the Pro Charger big block Chevy in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And won that night. That's when I beat Kayla Morton. She didn't like it. But anyway, let's go see. Let me go out here. I'll show you what I got on the shop side.
If anybody's watching, this is the time where you could ask some questions. We'll take some questions from the.
Yeah, if you have questions, go ahead, man. Yeah, no problem at all. We should make sure we get plenty of, make sure we have plenty of service out here. But this is a Dark Horse car, of course. Here's the beautiful motor that's jacked up. Yeah. So everything's tore out of here, of course. Let's see here.
Brody Melton wants to know if this is. Brody wants to know if this is MTV
Brody
Cribs.
Melton said what?
He wants to know if we're on MTV Cribs. The episode of MTV Cribs.
MTV Cribs. He's been to my house. He already knows. So I just upgraded the entire fire system in here, which is a good thing because it's just got to be done. God rest his soul. Ronnie Hobbs had passed away. It was already in the works, but that wouldn't have saved it. Just just thinking about stuff and just what we do is so dangerous. You just never know, and we just started upgrading stuff just to upgrade stuff. But I don't want to forget him because he was a great dude and bless his heart. But yeah, so here we are. I got everything tore out of here, all redneck style. But here's the Pro Mod.
I heard a rumor you were going to repaint Dark Horse this year a different color.
I am thinking about it. Who told you that?
I just started that rumor right now, by the way.
Yeah, I may do that. Here's the brand new Larry Jeffers Pro Mod. Full carbon fiber body. It's got the best of the best. Titanium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got, what do you want? I mean, there's nothing. It's got it, the best of the best. But, yeah, so I'm thinking about it's for sale. I've still got the big block Chevy that came out of the car. That was the big block Chevy that came out of the Dark Horse car originally. And it's got 2,500 horsepower. That thing won me some races, man. It was great. And if this trailer's sold, by the way. But
you're getting a new trailer, huh?
I'm getting something different, yes. So I still have the there's Pro Charger 40 that came out of there. I still have the entire setup for that motor came out of the Dark Horse car originally. So here's the front clip. But I mean, this Pro Mod is like I'm saying, it's the best. It's got liners. I mean, the rear end is ridiculous. I mean, it's Nice stuff. Carbon brakes all the way around. And here's the other problem we have, which Brody can contest to this. He knows what that looks like. So, but luckily the heads were not hurt, so the heads are good. There's no problem with the heads.
That's good.
We just got to get. I think I'm going to send it off to Dillard, and you can kind of see there's a crack right there. If you can kind of see it, maybe not, but the crack right there. But the big thing was it got in the cam journal up here a little bit, so we're going to see if we can fix that. And here's what we won off that September 26, 2020, 5,000.
Oh yeah.
Terrible.
Nice.
Yeah, won that. That's when I beat Kayla Morgan. She was mad, but everything else looked good. I mean, as far as like, there's only a few pistons that were messed up, but we can probably get it fixed for $15,000. But that's going to depend on if the block can be fixed. If not, it's going to be a new block because I'm not going to half-ass it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So that's trailer sold. That's gone. And you can see my toter home real quick because it'll probably go blurry. You can see the rig.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah,
you're right. Like that was a really good question as far as goals, and people needed to think about that. But Brody's the same way. Like we just want to win, right? We just want to go out there and be competitive. And I think to be competitive, we're going to have some really good sponsors or some good backup, as far as or people that can back you and support you. And that's what it's going to take.
Yep, for sure.
But I really think this year, it's going to be the biggest year yet as far as No Prep Kings. I really believe that. I really believe that this year will be the biggest year yet for No Prep Kings. And you're going to see who's going to, you're going to see who's going to be able to survive, I think, because there's so much money coming in here, and rightfully so, because everybody wants to be a part of it, because everybody hated it, and now they all want to be a part of it.
Hell yeah.
So,
funny how that works.
I love it, and I'm blessed to be a part of this, and even just be invitational. But I just think that this year's going to be pivotal for everybody, and see what's going to happen. But yeah, man, I want to be competitive. So yeah, my goal is to at least be top 15, in the first few races if we can, and go out there and try to make some rounds, man. Because I don't know if they're going to bring back the grade 8, which they should. I hated they got rid of the grade 8, but maybe they will. I don't know.
The great? What do you mean? They got rid of it?
I'm sorry, not the grade
Team
8.
attack. Team attack. Yeah.
The team attack. If they would bring back the team attack and bring back, because the team is why else do we have teams?
Right.
Like bring back team attack, and the grade 8 is fun, but the team attack gives everybody a chance to.
Yeah, and you make a good point there, because there's going to be even more cars, whether it's in futures or in the invitational this year than there's ever been. And what more of a better way to showcase all these new cars than to have team attack, right?
You bring back team attack, you have all the future guys and the invitational mixed together, and you just bring more people to the sport and bring more cars to life. It's like, oh, that guy, I know him, or whatever,
Yeah.
So
no, I know what you mean. I love team attack. I thought that was cool, right? I mean, you could like to learn about all the new people that you didn't know, really, because none of the races besides the invitational was on TV. So. But the only thing I know why, I think I know why they didn't do it is because money. Because fans want to pack the stands on Friday and Saturday nights, right? They want to have Ryan Martin racing against Kai Kelly on Friday night and Saturday. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And team attack, you can't guarantee that's going to happen, right? It's not guaranteed.
You're 100% correct. And I think that if they would just think about bringing back that, I think it would just be so much greater for the show, because you just mix up all the people. Like it gave us exposure back before I was invitational. You're grade 8. Like I was racing Swanstrom, like in Virginia
Right.
2 years ago. I'm in the semifinals against Swanstrom.
Oh yeah.
We end up breaking a crank. We broke the crank on the starting line. Yeah. So like, and I would have kicked his ass. He even said it. Swanstrom said, dude, you'd have killed me because he was only on 7 cylinders. So I did a burnout, come back, break my freaking crank, pull over to the side. He makes a half-ass pass. And when we got back to the pits, we went and talked to him. He was like, dude, if you wouldn't have broke your crank, I was only on 7 cylinders, so you would have probably got me. And we were flying all night, dude. We went
Yeah.
like 4 rounds. We were back to back to back to back. So
Yeah.
the crank gave out. And it just, you just never know in drag racing, right? So we didn't have a spare to put in there, which we're kind of a privateer team. We're not this big stuff, and I'm happy for what Swanstrom's doing and building his brand. That's awesome. He's coming up and he's doing everything right. He's doing his stuff, building his brand and being him. There's a lot of guys coming up that's going to be very, very, we're talking contagious this year. Like we're going to have I bet you this year will be the biggest and competition wise best.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you
Motor
saw it right
combos.
after last year, after about the midway point, Ryan didn't win a race for the final 6 races, and
Right.
Kayla, Jim Howe. I mean, it's like these. Not that they came out of nowhere, but it's like all of a sudden, it's not just about Ryan and Kai and Lizzie anymore. You know what I mean? There's about there's 10 to 15 people that could legitimately win a race now, and and it's like the competition is going to be the best next year than it's ever been.
I believe you, man. I think this season's going to be the best they've ever had. Season 6, it's going to be great, and which it needs to be. But we need to have more We need to have the competition needs to be there, but the rules have to be there too. The
Yes.
rules have to make sense
Right.
because if they just go back to the same rules and they knock off some weight for the Pro Charger stuff, because Ryan was going to do a screw, he ain't doing a screw blower. So I'm wondering, like, where we at with the rules here? Not saying he has any influence on it. I'm just saying, like, where we at there? He may feel more comfortable staying where he's at, which is great. He's good at what he does. He just is.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like maybe we stay the roots or whatever. But the screw blower stuff. Are they going to take the overdrive? Are they going to take more? Are they going to penalize the screw blowers this year because everybody went screw blower? We'll have to see. And the weight. Because we couldn't even get down to weight, even if I wanted to this last season. I couldn't even get down to. I was 50. I 2550. I can't get down to that. I just can't. We have an older chassis, older street chassis, which is a good chassis. It's just older. We need to upgrade it.
Right.
So
Yeah, for sure. Did
yeah,
you do? Now you did Fast in America season 3. Did you
I
film
did.
this? Did you film this most recent season of Fast in America
I
or no?
did not do that one. I did not. I was invited, but I did not go. I did not. And here's the reason why. If I would have had that motor, my small block or big block Chevy out there I just showed you with the Pro
Mm-hmm.
Charger, and I
Yeah.
could have put it in that car or had a second car, I would have done it.
Yeah.
Dude, there is no way to go out there and tune down our cars from 3,500 horsepower to 4,000, depending on what we're running. Most of us have 3,000 to 4,000 in between there, right?
Yeah.
You try to turn that car down, it's almost impossible. And you go out there with Trisha and JJ and those guys, they've got this stuff down. They know what needs to be done. Like, and
Right.
nothing against JJ is cool. Like, I have no problem with JJ. It's fine. Trisha, they talk shit, whatever. I'm just glad she was okay because she had a horrible wreck, and I'm glad she was okay. But they know how to do the street stuff. And you show up over there, you better be on your A game because
Yeah.
they're going to win. But here's the thing that I had. The only problem I had with the whole situation was, which I'm a nobody. I shouldn't say anything, but I'm saying you have JJ out there starting Trisha off against me. It's like She knows how many times he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and go
Yeah,
down. Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta be kidding me. I
Right.
just think they should do a third party starter, But
Yeah,
hey, I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying, like, for me, it was like they know when it's going to go down, like whenever that's going to happen. So,
yeah. No, I had
but
Rankin on. I had Chris Rankin on last week, and
I
he,
saw that, and I met, me and Chris met in Virginia in Maple Grove last year, and they had, was it his son? They have that '55 Chevy truck, that green truck. It's a truck. He
yeah,
has his
yeah,
great.
yeah,
He has his car. But
right.
anyway, he had some suspension problems. I was trying to help, whatever. But like, he's a good dude, man. But like, anyway, so I was listening
Yeah,
to a little bit of that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
he was talking about how he started off kind of following JJ around, and he was like, it's the arm drop chases a race. It's like it takes some experience and some learning to do before you have that advantage over somebody else. He's like, you can't just go out there like most people when they race against Memphis. He goes and have no experience in it because you're never going to win. He's like, it takes
No,
time. It takes
no.
getting used to how they do it and everything like that. So,
And I'm not saying that I would have beat Trisha when I drew her when I first well, it's almost been 3 years, but in Vegas, I'm not saying I would have beat her, but we had to turn the car down. It's like it just goes. You're like, oh, go.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
but I mean, you have to because you can't you blow the tire off.
yeah.
And thank God she did, because if I would have been side by side, she would have went right into me,
Oh
because
yeah, yeah. I
I
remember
was
that
behind,
race.
she was out here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, damn. So anyway, it would have worked out. I would have, but I mean, it was a great experience. I cannot say that I hated it. I loved it. I'm glad I was a part of it. I'm glad that I got invited from Pilgrim, because, dude, I'm saying, we're out there with the top guy, with Larry Larson, Murillo, me, Cody, all
Yeah.
these guys out there at 3 in the morning with a 2-lane road with flashlights zip tied to your blower. And
Right.
we're like, I got videos. I have to send you a video. I mean, I'm just like, I'm like, you got to be his first, second, third gear. Get off of it. This damn cattle guard. Stop, pull over, and then like turn around and stop. You're in the middle of nowhere at 3 in the morning in Vegas. Like, you can't replace that, dude. So like, and then there's a test place out there the next day or the next week. We were out there for a few weeks, and then you
Yep.
go out there to a different test place. So we go out there, we take our entire rig out there. We pull up, and it's this road out there near where we're racing. But it's like this. There's a big what do you call it? Like a substation, electrical substation to your right.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, like big, wide 2-lane road with full of black marks. So that it's not just us. It's like Vegas test out there. And we pull up out there, dude. There was like 20 cars, 20 of us. All the fastest American guys were out there testing. Everybody was out there testing. So we unload the
So,
car, and then the cops show up after we make one hit. Like, I'm in a full freaking suit, man. Like, we're out there, yeah, like freaking Darth Vader. We make a hit out there and turn around and come back. They come get us, and then the cops show up. They're like, "You gotta go, dude. You can't stay." But they were actually really cool. But there was one person. There was a substation. There was an electrical company out there. You went there and turned right. There was a road, and that one girl, Karen, she called the cops, and they come out there. But they already knew about this. You could tell because there's so much rubber laid down. But dude, literally, like, it was Eric Bain. Everybody you can even imagine was out there, dude. I don't think Ryan was out there. He was like everybody else but them. But like, there was like 25 of us out there, and we're just freaking making passes midday in Vegas on this road in the middle of nowhere for street stuff. So I love that aspect of that. I mean, back when I was 16 years old, I went to jail street racing, so I've been there 100 times. I had a CRX with nitrous on it, a little 1990 CRX SI with
wow.
I had one of the first in Carlsbad, New Mexico. I had one of the first dual overhead cam LS Integra motor swapped with nitrous. You know.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, it's a good
Hey,
time.
I want to switch subject just for a minute because I wanted to ask you about this. I saw a couple of weeks ago something about a possible podcast that you may or may not be doing soon.
So
I think it's
glad you
great
asked.
if you're going to do that.
Glad you asked. You may be part of that. I need you to be on there. I mean have you as a guest. So I guess this would be a good place to announce it. Yeah. So I just
Oh, okay. All
bought
right.
all
Hey,
the
wait, time out. Here, big. We got to make a clip out of this. All right. So Adam's got a big announcement. Go ahead, sir.
I do. So I've been wanting to do this for the last 10 years of my life. Well, I'd say almost 15 years, but I've never had time. And I finally pulled the trigger to start my own podcast. And this
Hell yeah.
podcast is going to be legit. It's not going to be some kind of a deal where it's like just kind of half-assed stuff. It's going to be legit. And ordered all the equipment last night. It's starting to come in.
Sweet.
I have a full-size room, a full-size podcast system with all 4K cameras, YouTube channel. It'll be about racing, everything, just all kinds of stuff. So
Oh, not just about racing. I'll be about more than that.
not just about racing. It's going to be everything. You know, it'll be about a bunch of stuff and just, you know, even business, you know, and talking about like the trials, tribulations of business and starting companies and, you know, having problems and just everything. So I'm excited about that. That's what I've wanted to do for a long time. And I appreciate you bringing that up because I will tell you right now, you're the first one to know that I'm going to put that out there. I will be starting a podcast in the next couple of months. I just want to make sure that the room's built right with
Yeah.
soundproofing and do everything correctly with 4K and have everything right. And
I'm excited as hell, man, because you have great personality. You're funny. I mean, I think it's going to be a great podcast for sure, man.
I really appreciate that. I hope that that shines through because I feel like I love talking to people and I feel like that I'm not, you know, a lot of people will come on here and just be like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you know, and I'm not that guy. I want to talk to you and I talk too much sometimes. So you can just slap me around and tell me to shut up.
No,
But
it's great. It's great.
I want to bring people's stories out, just like that in the whole drag racing world, and talking to people and like how they got started, how they are, you know, even talking to some of the big guys, top fuel guys, funny car guys, anybody I can bring on there the show that I know that are friends. They love to come on the show. Even yourself, talking how you do this stuff. Like it's just, I love the story. I love to bring that to people, and I hope that it's successful. And I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to half-ass it. I promise you. So thank you so much for bringing it up and having me on here. It's a blessing. You've done very, very good. And what you've done as far as having everybody on that I've seen, you know,
Mhm.
you're killing it, man. Just keep doing what
Appreciate that,
you're
man.
doing. I mean,
I'm so new to it yet, you know.
I'm not anything more, I'm less than you. I'm trying to get started. So, but what you've done and what you're doing is great. And I appreciate what you're doing on bringing light to all of us and talking to all of us as far as the No Prep King guys, because we have a voice. We want to talk about it. And you're probably like, Adam, shut up. But I'm just
Oh
saying.
no, don't shut up. It's good at it. It's
I know.
great.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Good,
But yeah,
good.
anyway, yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully I can have it in another couple of months, get it started and get it going and have a really successful podcast. I don't want to do a bunch of live stuff. I'm going to have a bunch of guests come in and fly in and do stuff and edit stuff out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really, just a really in-depth conversation to get people's story out there that want stuff or get their story out there and want to make sure that they have anything to promote as far as like charities, anything to help people out. That's our main goal, man. We want to help people
Yeah.
out and do stuff and just create a space to where people can get their name out there and talk about stuff and go over, because I have some crazy stories when I was a kid. It's going to be funny.
Can
So,
imagine.
but everybody does, you know, and so do you. Anybody does. So
Yeah.
that business racing. So yeah,
Well, I
I
can't
don't know
wait,
what the
man. It's
name's
gonna
going to
be
be.
great.
I don't know what the name's going to be called yet, but I'll let you
Okay.
know. But I will be launching in the next few months. But I mean, all the stuff's ordered. So that was the big step, because if you want to do it right and get a good podcast system, the SM7 mics. I mean, you got to get the, you know, I got the Rode 2 caster deal.
Oh,
I got the best you can get as far as like without going crazy, you know.
right.
But
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. No, I know what you mean. And I now that I'm like doing the shows now weekly, a couple times a week, it's like I'm starting to look into that kind of because I literally do my show on my phone. I have a brand new Google Pixel 7 Pro, but it's amazing what you can do on phones. You know what I mean? And it's like
That's all you have.
I gotta build up. Yeah, I gotta get up a nice camera maybe and microphone and stuff like that. But for right now, especially going live, like I want to go live at MPK events this year. That's probably one of my goals is to go to as many MPK events as I can, walk around the pits, go live with guys. So to carry all that stuff around would kind of be a pain in the butt, I think. So if I can just do it from my phone with good software, I think that might work. So
the beautiful thing about this is it's a good time to be alive, right? Because I'm telling you right now, you can do everything from your phone.
Yeah,
man.
Okay.
You're already killing it. You interviewed Ryan Martin, dude.
yeah. Yeah. I
You
did.
got Ryan on there. I mean, like, I'm telling you again, Ryan is a great guy. He's helped me so much to my program and stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, you're doing everything right. I mean, it's not bad. You can do everything from your phone. It's fine. But like
Yeah.
for me, I wanted I wanted to wait until I was able to get the right stuff to build up a real podcast
Yeah.
and not half-assed it, man, because there's a lot of guys that do that and they buy stuff and they get some camera stuff, which is fine. They do it's to your own, but like
Right.
you deserve to get your better equipment because you stayed the course. You
Yeah.
guys, you're killing it, dude. Like your channel's great, and thank you so
Appreciate
much
that.
for what you're doing because no one else is doing what you're doing. Like no one. I mean, we've got. I would say no. Bob Rice, No Prep Felons, those guys, they do a great job.
John Willis. Yep.
He is so good. We appreciate him so much because he's at every single race as he can and going live and showing
Yep.
live feed. Because like
Oh yeah.
whenever I'm in there, pissed off because Ryan beat me, I'm in there watching the damn live feed, whatever. So changing my clothes, getting out of my pants, like God dang it, so fucking good, fuck whatever. But no, I love those guys to death. They're so good. But the camaraderie is the biggest thing about No Prep Kings, right? But it's just there's so many guys that try to do what you're doing, and even Bob Rice with No Prep Felons, and you guys, you're just killing it, dude. And to stay the course and interview everybody like you've done
That's
and
the
keep it
plan.
going.
Yeah.
You've already done it. Like you've already got the biggest names out there, and you're good at it. And the feedback I've had from the people that I've talked to, that they're big names that I know, they love it. Like you're doing a good job. Like you give me plenty of time to talk. You're probably like Adam, shut the hell up. But I talk
No,
about
it's great. Like you're the best. You're like the best guest. I don't have to say nothing. You can just keep
oh
talking and
whatever.
talking and
I'm
talking.
not the best. I ain't the best guest, but I promise you, I'll come on again. We'll have a good time.
Hell yeah.
But I'm just saying, for what you're doing for the sport and keeping up with our stats and do what you're doing, like that you don't even have to do that. And that's free of charge. That's pretty freaking cool, dude. And that's what I like about this whole drag racing deal and No Prep Kings is the camaraderie. Because I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you many stories about how my motor blew up. And even Robin Roberts was in my pit for 4 hours trying to get a piston stabbed in my block. It's like the stuff
Yeah.
you don't hear about, the people are like you don't hear about, and like it's just like me and Brandon James, cool as hell. Like he took my transmission to get fixed. Like I mean, like there's so many stories in the backside that no one hears about that I could
Mm-hmm.
tell, seeing on the back end that no one knows, about. But you're
Okay.
bringing this to light because you allow that platform and no one else is doing it. But
Right.
people trust you enough because you've got Kai. Have you had Kai on yet?
Yeah, Kai on last
You
week.
already
Yep.
had Kai. You had
Yep.
Kai, Ryan.
Yep.
You've got the biggest names in the business on there because they know, like they're going like, yeah, dude, you need to go on his deal. Because if
Yeah,
not,
that's cool.
no one
That's
would do
cool.
it.
Right.
I mean, you're
You know,
killing it, dude. And just I
I
can't.
appreciate it, man. You're too kind, honestly. You're way too kind.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be. I'm just saying I just can't thank you enough for doing what you're doing on putting names out there or putting us on the map. As far as like having a willing to like take time out of your night, we're already at an hour, and
Mm-hmm.
you could be doing other stuff. I'm sure you have a family, but you're taking time out of your life to talk to my dumb ginger ass for an hour. Listen to me talk about a bunch of BS, but it's a good time and you can learn more stuff. You're like, oh, I didn't know you raced sprint cars. What the hell are you
Right.
doing?
Oh yeah.
You
No,
know, I
honestly,
didn't do it very long, but I mean, I wish
it's
I want to buy another one, but
in the dark, it's more of a more of a selfish thing for me because I want to learn about all you guys. I've been watching you guys from day one, from
yeah,
Chief in the very first episode where all Chuck just raced every race, and that was the only guy who raced on the whole first season. But it's like I've been watching since then. You know what I mean? So it's more of like a selfish thing for me. Like I want to find more out about you guys because honestly, if you're not on the TV show, right? If you're not showing on the TV show a whole lot or something, nobody really knows a whole lot about it. And
that's right.
if the person's not totally engulfed in their like Facebook page or YouTube, right? If they're not the person's not into social media that much, it's really hard to learn about anybody. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll start doing interviews in a selfish way and learn about it myself. So
just thank you so much for doing what you're doing. You're killing it, and I guarantee you, if no one said thank you more than I'm telling you for everybody else, you are killing it. Everybody else, like I mean, you've interviewed everybody. Everybody watches. We watch all your interviews. I watch everything. Like Ryan's interview was great. Like he was great. I mean, everything was good. Like Kai's was good. Remember that? But I mean, like everybody you've interviewed is great, and you asked the right questions. You're a good dude, and you don't have to do any of this. And thank you for having the passion for wanting to do this and giving us a platform to even talk to me. Because honestly, I'm a nobody in no prep.
no,
I'm at the
you're
bottom of
not,
the
man.
list,
You're
man.
not. You're not.
Well, I am.
Man.
I had a rough year, but I mean, I'm going to try to get back. But I mean, you don't have to talk to us, and you decided to do that.
I do. I'm a fan, man. I do have to talk to you guys. I'm a fan. Okay, and
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm so glad. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your kind words. I'm so glad we finally got to make this happen because we've been talking about it for a while now, and it just hasn't worked out.
I tell you what, every time you have me on, it's going to be a show.
Hell yeah!
I'll make it a good one for you. I promise you. Not gonna
well,
be
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I don't want to take up all your time.
You're good, bro.
Dude, first race, I'll be at the first race. I'm going to come meet you. I haven't met you yet. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And have a good night, sir.
Have a good night, buddy. Thank you so much. Keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing. Later, buddy.